Hello and welcome to Legend TV. I can't wait to bring you today's guest. She is a queen and one of the most amazing women that I have met, and I'm delighted to call her a friend, but she's an expert in something that's so interesting I really want to bring it to you. So please welcome Dr. Rossanna Massey.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Mel.
Now, what you're going to talk about today is that there is a way to change things without focusing on them. And what do you mean
Yes.
by that?
Well, there's a lot of areas in our lives that we would like to change and focus on. Like, for example, maybe have never been able to lose the weight, or you have a hard time following through in any sort of exercise or self-care, or money seems to slip through your hands. You just can't keep it. Lack of focus. There's things we can focus on, but there's a way to set up the bowling pins and get it all out.
Right, so a way of not focusing on money slips through my fingers, or I wish I had more, or money manifest and pile up beside me, that there's something I can do that I don't need to focus on that.
Correct.
Right. First of all, tell us your story, as in how on earth did this all begin that you found this that we're going to tell people about a little bit later.
Okay. I consider myself an expert in trauma. In fact, I call myself the trauma queen. How do I know about this? I was raised in rage. My big brother and I were verbally and physically abused by my father, who had uncontrollable rage. I was the one who he couldn't break. I would daunt him and say, "Big man, that didn't hurt." And he just hit me again, and I wouldn't cry. But it broke my brother's spirit, and he took his life when he was 27 years old. So I was the angry survivor, but we were also secret keepers, so no one knew that.
Right. But, I'm so sorry for your brother, but
Thank
what did it make you? I mean, you are the trauma queen and you are this force of nature. But from what I'm hearing, that's what you've dedicated your life to figuring out how to solve so that other people didn't become your brother.
Correct. I wasn't really aware of how it had leaked into every area of my life as when I was a younger woman. I thought I was doing fine, but a lot of us do.
A lot of us are strong women and we pride ourselves on being strong, and
Right.
we aren't looking.
But it leaked into everything, and the men I chose. Uh, I tried road rage, but I was a horrible driver, so that didn't work. And there was just little ways it would seep out.
So what started the journey? Where did you start learning first of all what it was and how to deal with it, and then to develop your own approach to it all?
Well, I saw the need for a change, and I tried cognitive behavioral therapy, and I did that for a full year with a therapist, and I felt like I had everything sorted, and intellectually I thought I did. I had.
Right.
And it makes you feel proactive, like you're really taking care of it, until something happened. And I went home to visit my parents after, I would avoid it at all costs, but it was a rare visit. And I got in a horrible fight with my father. Horrible. And the tables turned. I turned into the bully. And I completely annihilated him.
Wow. I mean, that's an incredibly brave confession.
Ah,
But so what that? I mean, obviously that then taught you there had to be something more than CBT.
absolutely. I was stunned that it was still there. And in that moment, it was there in spades. And after it happened, and on my flight home, I just felt physically ill, and I knew that I had to do something. Otherwise, I was going to continue to vibe like that and possibly destroy my life. And there had to be something better. There
So
had to be.
what was the next step? What brought you to what you do today?
Well, long story short, I became a doctor of chiropractic, and we are privy to a lot of the new stuff coming down the pike. And there was this genre of healing called energy psychology. And what made that different is that you're activating your own biofields. And at the time I was like, biofield? What? Oh, that's baloney. Until I tried it.
Right. And I mean, I bet that's what a lot of people are like. What the heck is energy psychology? I mean, you are an energy psychologist now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And, but, well, who needs this kind of help?
Well, that's an
You're going to
interesting.
say all of us, aren't you?
Yeah, especially now, over here in the United States, it's a mess. And we have a leader who thinks it's okay to be aggressive, and people are aggressive, and people are fighting, and there's hate crimes, and everyone's angry. And then layer that with COVID-19 and being forced into quarantine. And when people feel out of control and they feel, they get angry, and layered on top of their past trauma with the new stuff, it's a mess.
Right. So, literally all of us could do with some of this.
Absolutely. It would be great to learn a mechanism to regulate your own emotions and get that out very quickly at the tip of your fingers, literally.
Right. So this is where we get to the crux of the thing. So you had the chiropractic practice, you had the CBT knowledge, you learned about energy psychologies, all these things coming down the pipeline, and you had years of specializing in serious diseases and chronic pain symptoms, and with this root of this trauma.
Yes.
But you call it ACE, right? But you developed your own signature method.
I did. Traditional emotional freedom techniques or tapping has you repeat a positive affirmation, and it's formulaic, and that was a pitfall learning it, because there were a lot of people who were afraid they were doing it wrong, saying it wrong, and they would just not do it. And when you work with people who are seriously ill and have like even literally months to live, you don't have time to fool around with them. So I figured out a way to bypass having them try and say that they love and accept themselves completely. And it went straight to bitching. And so I called it the bitch tap method, and it worked like a charm.
Yes, I mean, I can now confess that you've helped members of my family, and it works like a charm. It really has a ripple effect of wellness in people. So you ended up writing a book about this.
Yes. I in the book, I tell people how I dealt with my trauma using energy psychology or tapping, and how I helped other people. And the book is called Diary of a Mad Practitioner. And, I can honestly say I was mad, okay? I was angry. And that's how I can recognize it so well in other people.
Yes. And, from that childhood experience, from that exchange with your dad, the loss of your brother, this literally is your purpose. You can see it in you. It's your purpose. And everybody I know that works with you heartily recommends working with you. But so when this is the inevitable question. If we use the bitch tap method and learn with you, what happens? What is that Elysium? What is the happy ever after that we can actually experience for real?
Well, first of all, it helps people access their buried anger and their buried emotions, because a lot of us were raised not to be entitled to the way we feel, or we walked on eggshells and we didn't want to rock the boat. And so that stuff gets buried and it stays there. We're afraid to say it. So I step people into actually full on cussing, which is therapeutic, by the way. So we call it grumble tapping. And, everyone can kvetch or grumble, and that just opens the gate to reaching in and getting that emotion out.
So you use words like biofields and energetic bodies, and we don't have to understand any of this. There is a scientific basis to it all. Some of us are familiar with it through something like acupuncture or the meridians, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I was going to ask, can you explain sort of biofields in a way that
Sure.
people like me might understand?
Okay, well, we've all bought into Chinese acupuncture now, but it took a while, took a while for the doctors to get over seeing that it's strange and, what are they actually doing? They're actually activating the meridian energy pathways. These are like little roadways. These are like freeways actually inside your body that you can't see. But before you get to those, there's actually the outer energy called auras or the auric field. And sometimes people will say, oh, I can see colors. Maybe so, but we can actually see it on a daily basis. If you see someone and they have this beautiful glow about them, that you're looking at their auric field. So that's the first door you knock on to get inside the body.
I love the way you put it. You say you knock on that, and then that lets you open up, and that's when you get into the
Right.
biofields of the meridians. I love it.
And FYI, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. I'm
Well,
telling you.
we can't see our mind, and we sure as hell know that's there because it spends quite a lot of time talking to us.
Thank you.
And so the bitch tap method is something we can learn, or what, we have to come to you, or both?
Well, both actually, because, you know, some people do not have a hard time cussing, and you can vent your anger, you can scream and cuss, you can break things, you can go to an anger room, you can smash plates, but that is not expressing it out of your body. It's not taking the energy of the negative emotion and allowing it to leave. So I teach a course called the No More Trauma course, and I teach people how to apply my bitch tap method to their past traumas and really get some work done. So it's productive bitching. It's not just bitching to your girlfriends.
Right. So it's not the gossipy bitching, and it's
No.
not that thing. From what I'm hearing is when we're throwing things around, or we've got an anger room or something, all we're doing is managing it.
Yeah,
Now,
yes.
I've learned that managing is not cure.
No.
Managing just means I'm temporarily managing it, or I'm enabling it even just to hang about. And you're
Pal-
saying passive. Thank you. You're
Mhm.
saying that what you do, and I know this is true, what you do gets it out like you never have to think about it again.
Yes. It's curative and it reconsolidates a memory. It doesn't give you amnesia about an old event or a traumatic event. And there's some hideous ones, but it takes the memory and reconsolidates it, repackages it because the pain is out of it. It goes back into the files. It doesn't hurt you anymore. It becomes a learning experience, or it doesn't come to the forefront. It doesn't haunt you at night. You know.
I love that. It doesn't give you amnesia, it gives you learning.
Mhm.
That is amazing. So, if there were one takeaway from this, what would it be? That if for everybody who's listening now, what is the one takeaway you want them to hold in their heart from this conversation?
Well, especially now that we're in quarantine, still at least we are here, we have a chance to really soul search, become introspective and look at the things that could use improvement And, if we're honest, there's a lot of things that could change. We're not done until we're dead. So the takeaway is there's hope and there's nothing too horrible. And I'm living proof. There's nothing too horrible that you can't release and get past and that will help you get out of your own way and have a successful life for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? There's nothing we can't get past and learn from
Yes.
easily,
Yes.
which will help us to have a more successful life in whatever way that we define success as.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is you are an incredibly compassionate woman. You still don't take any crap from us, and you are skilled at what you do. Your lineage of knowledge, I don't even want to say how many decades it goes back, but there were times when you were right there at the foundation of some of these things that were coming down the pipeline, to use your own words. And you absorbed them, used them, found their weaknesses, and created something out of all of that that you can use every day to move past what trauma you have. Not move past it, reprogram it so that there's a memory with learning in it.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Thank you so much. I think you are too.
Well, I cannot wait to hear more of your story at the festival. I am honoured that you are one of our world-class speakers at that event. And I invite everybody to come and see Dr. Rossanna Massey, energy psychologist, because she has something that can literally change lives and heal.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to tell the world about it.
Me too. We will see you on the other side.